also this is the purpose of it as well. Like the use of mobile device for information sharing activities so can help them to join with other community as well as you maybe you have joined the Facebook group before, so you can know update of the story as well. That's why when they join the group, so they can develop their satisfaction, they can share things with their friends, and they can have the happy life. And so my study aims to explore the information sharing behavior among older Thai adults, and also the relationship between the sharing information habits with the perceived online social support and the perceived subjective well-being of these older adults. Okay, this is my hypothesis. I think that these their sharing activity gonna positively correlated with their perception. Okay, I use the questionnaire developed by multiple measurements and scale, and information sharing I developed from these authors and the social report I adopted from them, and also the subjective well-being. And also when I have the questionnaire, so I adopted and then I revised them to serve the Thai context. And I also conduct this confirmation factor analysis, the CFA, and the contract alpha, it shows that the value is acceptable. And the results I collected from the live users, from 413 live users, but I cut off the age at 15 according to 2018. So in total, I have 119 participants, and the age range from hours online. And this is a result that my hypothesis. Right? So the information sharing have the positive correlation with the social support, and also the information sharing have the positive correlation with subjective well-being and the significant statistically. As I talk about as I further said that the more they share information, the more they feel like they feel support, they want some social support from them. And also when we talk about the subjective well-being, that's the same. The more they share information, the more they feel like they happy in life. Because when we talk about older adults, they're prone to be isolated from the social, right? But they have something to do. So in Thai context, as we found that if they share more information, so they feel like they have the happy life. Okay, such as because when we talk about share information, in this study we don't categorize like what kind of information they share, but we can suppose like okay, the information can be something like a personal problem as well, because older adults they have some kind of emotional problem and other stuff. So like if they share in the period research, they said that when you share more personal information with your connections, so they can help them to feel connected with all the audience that they share together. So that's why they can like understand them like okay, we can support them. And also the research said that when you express your emotional release, so it can help you to mitigate the psychological anxiety, right? You don't keep your feeling alone, so you share with people. That's why you feel better and you can have a better life as well. And also we found that this one is connected to the learning, because they found that basically older adults, they kind of have the digital phobia. right? They don't really want to adapt technology. They use just really small amount of the technology. And I'm talking about in our context because even I'm talking to my grandmother or my aunt, they don't really use smartphone. They use just the numeric phone and knowledge of technology as well. But the research said that when they manage to have some literacy and they know something, they know how to use it, so they can overcome it, and then they can be more open-minded to use it, so and then they can feel more comfortable, and then they can use to help them develop better life. And also when you use technology and then you can seek more support, so you can have energy to live on, right? Not just like you sitting in the dark corner and then you don't want to do anything. Not just like that, because older people they are prone to be more like that because they have excluded from the society. And yeah, when you feel more positive on your life, so you can have more energy to face on and live on and develop the better quality of life. And also, my limitation is based on only the self-report data from specific groups, so that's why you cannot generalize to the other context. And also, I just focus on the Thai context, so it may be different in Western context. And also, I use just only the qualitative data collection, so you can just use the other method to combine together, like observation, or you just get into it for more profound understanding of their behavior. And also, you may consider including the demographic factors like educational level and gender as well. And you may consider looking at the what type of information they share as well, because people can have different kind of information. If we talk about Thai people, so we can share something like every morning you can see like some senior, they send you good morning Monday, good morning Tuesday, good morning Thursday, or something like that as well. So in previous research, in research, they said that the type of information can have influence on the sharing, on the technology habit as well. So you may have a look at this as well. So let's come to the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, please ask.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Yossiri. I have one question.
Yes.
What benefit do you receive from this research? Maybe normally in Thailand, most people would like to share in live application, in the Facebook, in the everything in the social network. What is benefit from this research?
The research, right?
Yeah.
Because for doing this research, you know the behavior of the older adult, because the older, you like sharing as well, but in the research, they said that the habit of using technology between young people and older people, they are different. And they have different motivations to adopt this technology to their life.
I think normally in social networks, normally they are about to use it every day.
Yes.
Use that social
Yes.
network. Very good. What do research can help older adults in Thailand to develop them also?
To help them to accept more technology, because if you talk about, because I would say that older adults, they have different educational level as well. Okay, like you cannot say like, okay, if we are in educational or if we are experienced of the technology already, so we have no problem with that, right? Because we are growing up with the technology already. But there are some group of older adults that they have like lower level of education and they don't really accept technology at all. Because some of the data that I collected from two different groups as well. Some professional level and lower educational level as well. And then when they talk to them, as I collect the data, so they just like they don't really know all the technology at all. So it can help them to develop their literacy as well. Like in learning in different kind of.
Okay. Some every day we have a fact news in the live group. Many fact news. What you scan in the fact news to protect misunderstand others. You have a fact news in the live group.
Flash news.
Yeah, fact news. Yeah.
Fact news.
Yeah, you can protect fact news in the live group. Hope because all the adults maybe don't understand this new who affect the high social, right?
Okay, so it means like my research, they help to pave the way to help make people some kind of, because this is just part of my research, and also I also analyze all the motives that affect the information sharing behavior as well. So that's why these motives can gonna give you some more ideas about them. Because now you know that right now you have a lot of fake news, right? And sometimes people just share. They don't care. They just receive from friends and then they share, right? They don't even consider all the context that they receive from or they receive the information. So that's why my research is gonna have like raise some awareness. Like, okay, before you share, you have to look at it first before you share. I can give you my recent example. Because my university related to a hospital, and I received one information talk about you can have free eye operation or something like that. Like you have severe eye disease and then you can have free eye operation from that. But when I received that information, I sent it to my colleague that works as a nurse in my hospital. And when I sent to her, she said like, this is the old news, but this project has already been finished. So that's why I have to send this information back to older people that share to me and say that this is finished. You should check it before you share. So some people, they lack of literacy to consider all the information, so they just starting sharing without caring about anything. So that's why it's
So yeah, yeah.
Shashi from Open University Malaysia. Just one question. Why is it that your sample is the participant must be more than 5 years using line? Any good reason? I saw one of the slide that whoever to participate in this study must be using line more than 4 years.
Oh, that's just the that how long they have been using it, not the criteria that you use it. That's the result. That's the result of it. Like they have been using line for 5 years. I don't have the cutoff like okay how long you have to use it, but that's the majority of it. They use like more than 4 years. Yeah, more than 4 or 5 years.
So
That's not the criteria that I just cut off from that. I just cut off at the age.
Thank you, Yossiri, is right. Thank you for presenting. I think those two concepts that you use is very useful. Just my question is that I'm just really wondering, do you have any insights into how they become very savvy using line? So although your findings make sense, but I'm just wondering if people, older people, having good social support in their physical space tend to use LINE more. So whether it's the other way around. So some of your argument is that people are going to be isolated, and that's why they go for the virtual area to interact with people. But my kind of assumption can be the other way around, the people having good family support, the grandchildren may like teach them how to use LINE and so on. So people who are active online, maybe those people are already very happy with their family and friends around their neighborhood and they start talking. So how we can just go to the conclusion that elderly people being isolated will use LINE and become more happier.
Let me say it like this. Okay. When we talk about if they have happy life already, right? And then I would say that the social support, when they come to the tangible social support and intangible social support, they come hand in hand anyway. It's not just like you have the virtual social support, maybe, so you're gonna leave out the tangible social support. It has to come together. When maybe like when they lack of something, so they turn to something. So that's why they must have two things all together to complement one another. Anyway. You cannot just leave one out and then you cannot just prefer that one more than just that one. Because when we talk about the virtual community, so mostly sometimes you cannot trust them as well. As I collected the data, I asked them as well, like, okay, do you trust your virtual community when you want to seek for support? Some of my participants said that no, they don't trust it at all because they don't know who they are, right? But if you have some, if you feel like you can, and they also in the research they said people seek more support from the people they are feel close with as well. So that's why they come with two arguments here as well. Like when they share information, they share information differently between two groups of people. Like the social tie, right? Social tie, right? Weak tie and strong tie. So weak tie means that you don't really know people. The acquaintances, like when you go on Facebook, so you just share to audiences. But the strong tie, when we talk about the strong tie, we talk about family and friends. So when they share information, different kind of information they share, so they share differently. For the strong tie, basically they share something related to their personal preferences, like they share an emotion, they have a bad day, they have a fight with their family, so they share with their friends. But when we talk about the weak tie, the information that they share, they share some kind of instrumental or useful information, like they share something related to sale, promotions, or they share something related to education, something like that. So they have different kinds of research. I hope it's answer you just.
It's okay.
Sorry, just one quick question. Well, it looks like somewhere in your presentation, the questionnaire has been modified to suit the type context, and I wonder how this context specificness is related to perceived happiness. So in what way, in what ways you have altered or made adjustments to such questionnaires? Can you share with us some of the items you have asked?
Okay.
And whether those then factor into the level of perceived happiness or sense of well-being.
Okay. For in terms of information sharing, I modify in terms of have them share with the different kind of audience. Like, okay, you share information with your colleagues, you share information with your online friends, you share information with your nephew, your cousin, your teacher, something like that, and modify them. And also, for the social support, I modify them to ask like, okay, people from the online community or people from line can help you get more support when you share. And also for the subjective well-being, I ask them in general more like, are you satisfied with your life? You feel happy with your life? Do you have any monetary concern, financial concern, kind of stuff. So it's more like to serve people because the older adult, I select the older adult based on because the older adult they are more like unemployed. They don't really have they resign from their work and they don't have like that. So that's why the questions that they ask like how they're satisfied with their financial statement, financial condition, and also their happiness in their life. I hope I can answer your question.
Okay. No answer? No answer? Okay, I would like to